There are but 2 events left in this 24th season of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships. And with championships on the line, the first challenge that the world's best sports car drivers have to overcome is the Technical Drivers Challenge of Sonoma Raceway. And it's coming up right now. Revs coming up for green.
Big move coming off the 3.
2, 3, 4 abreast in some spots.
Side-by-side action.
He absolutely nailed it.
Three-way battle.
And we've got an incident. You would expect nothing less.
Oh, flips the inside apex.
Very racy. This is going to get into
That is a brave move. What a pass. This is what World Challenge is all about.
We've talked all season about the wonderful variety of racetracks that the Pirelli World Challenge gets to visit over the course of a season. One of the benefits is every once in a while you get to come to a very special location. And so it is today as we're in California's wine country. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Creamer and welcome to the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma. Just over that hill behind me lies Sonoma itself and Napa Valley, 2 of the locations that produce some of the best varietals in this country. But just in front of that hillside is one of the great drivers' challenges that racing produces, Sonoma Raceway. It is a tough place to conquer. You've got abrupt elevation changes. You've got blind approaches over brows. You've got 2 technically challenging hairpins. It's a tough place to conquer, but conquer it they must if they want to remain in the hunt for the championship when we go to the season finale in Houston in just over a month's time. Today we've got great racing for you. Highlights from Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec, just one of the closest championships we've got, and coverage of the 13th round of GT and GTS from right here at Sonoma. Let's get it started. Let's get to the booth and my partner, Calvin Fish.
Thanks, Greg. You can cut the tension with a knife here this weekend as the championships are coming down to the wire. The title contenders on the grid today know that one slip could be pivotal when we get to the season finale at the Fomatex Grand Prix of Houston. It's been a long road with plenty of twists and turns to get us to this point in the season, and one team that has had a brilliant campaign is Cadillac Racing. They are on the verge of clinching the title for manufacturers here today and have 2 of their drivers in the thick of the points chase. Andy Pilgrim loves this circuit, and he gives us his insight with the Cadillac Key Corners.
I'm Andy Pilgrim with Team Cadillac, and this is your Cadillac Key Corners from Sonoma Raceway, California. We're coming up past the start and finish line here, going into the left-hander turn 1. Turn 1 goes up the hill, very, very steep uphill. You've got to get your car over the left side for the brake zone. Coming to a right-hander over the top, turn 2. The road just drops away right here. You got a lot of oversteer. Coming out of this turn down to turn 3, left-hander, heavy compression into this turn and up over the top. Blind right-hander up and over the top. You really get the car loose here. Downhill, quick squirt down to turn 4, right-handed track again, drops away. Huge elevation change at this racetrack. Turn 5, flat out, turn 5, long left-hander. Now it comes uphill, you come up on top, get heavy, braking downhill, track drops away to the left. This is the famous carousel. You've got to get a good exit out of here because we've got a long straightaway up to turn 7. Turn 7 is a very, very slow hairpin. It's about 35 miles an hour for us guys. Down to 2nd gear. Come around the hairpin, you've got just no traction here. Everybody's spinning tires out of here. Come out, up into 4th gear, up into 5th gear, down the famous S's, coming into turn 8, left-hander, and then a quick switch back to 8A, down, up over the hill, down to, again, a very, very heavy braking for 9 and 9A, right-hander, left-hander, and we come back on the old track, back to the famous turn 10, again, flat out through here, accelerating all the way through up to 5th gear. And we get a bit of a compression down here, heavy braking into turn 11, down to 2nd gear. A lot of exit room here, but it's still very, very slow, very slippery. And flat out up the gears again, up to 6th gear. And that again is your Cadillac Key Corners from Sonoma Raceway.
And that, of course, was recorded a couple of days ago. We now have absolutely picture postcard perfect weather here today. Let's take a look at what you're going to see in the show. We're going to have highlights of the 2 Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec races that unfolded here, rounds 11 and 12. And then we'll have enhanced coverage of our featured race, round 13, for GT and GTS. Now, we just saw those Cadillac Key Corners with Andy Pilgrim, Cal. Looks like lots of opportunities on this track to pass, but there's one that really is overly inviting.
Absolutely. As we take a look at our Motul braking zone, the key here is to get a good shot out of the carousel turn 6. There's a long straightaway, as you can see, heading down into turn 7. Very hard braking. This hairpin is one of the tightest corners that we encounter all season long. It's wide open on the inside, very inviting, but can easily lead to contact, so we expect plenty of action here today.
It is going to be fun to watch. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec qualifying. Developments in both. Good one in TCB, not so good in touring car. In touring car, a wreck actually red flagged the session. But in touring car B-Spec, how close is this championship? Robbie Davis came in 5 points behind Ernie Francis Jr. The 7 points for pole gives him a 2-point lead, as well as the Motul Pole Award. Now, in touring car, the story there, because of that red flag, Ryan Winchester starts up front based on points. Gives him a huge opportunity as the points leader to stretch that margin. And as we take a look at the highlights from round 11, he wasted no time going to the front and behind them, a huge field of touring car B-Spec machines. Interesting, Robbie Davis with his great season so far, his first pole.
That's great to see. The Compass 360 team, though, are at the point right now, running 1, 2, 3 as they head up the hill into turn 2.
Now, Michael Cooper was the guy who got caught out with that qualifying point structure as he was back in the points. He didn't waste much time taking that Atlanta Motorsports Group Mazda up and around. Brett Sandberg into third.
Remember, he's going for his 5th straight victory. Missed a triple header at Coda. Here he gets a little love tap from Brett Sandberg as they go through turn 7.
Absolute fierce racing in touring car B-Spec. Brian Fowler up onto the curbing, tried to hang on to it, but that True Car Shea Racing Ford Fiesta on its head. That brought out the lone full course caution, compressed the field fairly quick, getting him righted, getting back to green, and again giving Cooper an opportunity to try and make some moves, but so did John Miller. And watch that blue VW of Emmett, Cal.
Yeah, this is a superb move that he makes there. Slides it down the inside of Sarah Catania as they head up the hill. Now hard braking here for turn 2. This is a very tricky part of the racetrack, Greg, but everyone's keeping it clean here on this restart.
Yeah, these blind brows sure are exciting. And Cooper about to make the move on the young rookie, Remo Rushidi. However, Cal, it wasn't going to last very long.
Well, Cooper had a lot of speed here as we head up into turn 2. Watch this. He's off to the side of the racetrack. Problems there for the Mazda. This will have consequences. Remember, there's only a 15-minute turnaround for the next race.
And another guy impressive this weekend, Tyler Palmer in that number 24 Mini Cooper. A great story as he put the pass on Joel Liparini and the Compass 360 boys. Sandberg trying the move on the rookie, got it done.
Yeah, Sandberg's starting to get warmed up here a little bit, moves up to second.
Ryan Winchester, though, came in with 3 wins in the points lead. It gave him the opportunity to start up front. He didn't waste it, win 4 on the season, and completed a 1-2-3 sweep for Compass 360.
Amazing season, only 1 time off the podium so far for Winchester.
Here's where the fireworks were. Davis, last lap. Watch Ernie Francis. Davis moves to block. Francis down the inside. Davis keeps coming over. They touch. Davis just nicks that tire barrier, rips the mirror off the car, but they were able to both continue. Ernie Francis coming home with his 6th win of the season and back in the point lead. That's how close this class has been.
That was a wild move. You're going to put it all out there for that last lap, trying to get the win. Ernie was down the inside. Davis tried to protect, and we saw the consequences there. Francis takes the checkered flag.
Yep, Davis in second, and the very impressive young rookie Tyler Palmer getting his 5th podium in 6 races. Great story. But here you go. Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma. Official results. Touring car. Winchester, Sandberg, Rushidi. That's Compass 360. Emick with his best finish of the season. Same for Sarah.
Sarah Catania there in the top 5. And in TCB, well, Ernie Francis Jr. gets his 6th win of the season. Narrowly pipping our championship leader coming in, Robbie Davis. There'll be a turnaround at the top tonight.
And it was just a great race. Great to see some of the action that was unfolding out there. And Brian Fowler, he was absolutely fine, folks. That was a gentle rollover. Let's take a look at some of our awards. Optima Batteries. Best start of the race goes to Jack Myrie in the Fiat by Executive Fiat 500. 6 spots in that first lap. We then move to our Sunoco Hard Charger Award. It goes to Ernie Francis Sr., Junior's dad. He had some great moves, moving up 5 spots total in the race. He's on the outside there in that green and white Mazda. Nice moves throughout. Then we take a look at our CTSV move of the race. Michael Cooper, great pass into 7.
Well, Cooper was certainly showing a lot of speed during the course of this race, but certainly it came to nothing for him as he DNF'd.
And finally, our Kia turning point of the race. That one was easy. This moment in touring car B.
Just tight quarters here, trying to get into that chicane area. Robbie Davis tried to protect. Ernie Francis was going for a great car control by both drivers, and they move on to the next race.
Our Motul fast laps of the race in touring car. It is Brett Sandberg in that Compass 360 gear time machine, and Robbie Davis in touring car B spec got the fast lap in his Mini Financial Services Mini Cooper. 15-minute break, then they went at it again. Gridded based on finishing order in the 11th round of the championship. When we come back, highlights from race 2, round 12. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Sunoco Race Fuels, fueling victories for 5 decades. by the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTSV coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Pirelli, power is nothing without control. Welcome back, everybody, to the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma, as we are just about set to give you a look at the highlights from the second of the doubleheaders, round 12 of the Touring Car B-Spec. But first, our Moto2 Pole Awards. Ryan Winchester, again, in the League and Industries Compass 360 machine. An opportunity for him to really expand this points championship. And Robbie Davis right there in that, again, Mini Financial Services Mini Cooper. You can see the damage. He starts second. There's your Moto2 Pole Award winner, Ernie Francis Jr., in that Breathless Performance Festival of Speed machine. At the green flag, once again, it was Winchester getting the drop, but this time Sandberg absolutely refused to give up that second spot to the young rookie Raymond Rushidi, his teammate, and he slots into second. But look at Emick in the VW.
Yeah, beautiful move there by Emick. He really takes a lot of speed through turn one, and that pays off when they get to the brake zone for turn two.
Touring Car B-Spec, Robbie Davis, turns out he hit the rev limiter at just the wrong time, Cal. Swallowed up.
He did. He drops a long way back, and he's got a lot of work to do today.
Now, in this race, Sandberg was very racy. Watch him into the braking zone, the dancing of that car. He's so deep on the brakes.
Well, he showed a lot of pace in race one and got the fastest race lap there and really started to make some moves on his teammate. And there we see him starting to put some pressure on Winchester. But Emick's right there as well. This is Sarah Catania. Just squeaks through there at the hairpin down at Motul braking zone.
Now watch how fierce this gets. Right there is Rushidi. They are side by each here, and this is only part of the battle. Look at this. There goes Miller, and then way down to the inside, young Clark Topi in the Kinetic Kia Rio, and gets through on Miller. They were dancing everywhere, and a classic move here by Tyler Palmer, that Black Forest Porsche Mini, the young rookie underneath the veteran Joe Lipparini.
Yeah, that was almost cut and paste from the race earlier today.
What a finish once again by Winchester. That is his 5th win of the season, and he just blows this championship pretty much wide open. And look at this right at the end, maybe the only mistake by Emick.
Well, he tried to break that stranglehold from the Compass 360 boys. Took a very shallow angle down at that chicane. Gets a little bit wrong. Rushidi is by for that final podium spot.
And in Touring Car B, Ernie Francis completes the sweep. That is his remarkable 7th win of the season, and of course is going to do him no harm at all in terms of the points. In Touring Car, your results: an identical repeat of the podium. Winchester over Sandberg, then Raymond Rushidi. Emick, another great 4th. Catania, another great 5th.
There was some great racing there in Touring Car today, and in TCB it's Ernie Francis Jr. on top, and with that win should vault him to the top of the point standings as well.
Then Palmer, then Lipparini. Take a look at the rest of the field. Unfortunately for Holbrook and PJ Gronke, the 2 True Car Shea Racing entries, problems in post-race tech, they were disqualified. Let's take a look now at some of our specialty awards. The Optima Batteries Best Start. Ernie Francis Sr. gets it this time. Remember, he was the hard charger the previous one, up 5 spots. Looking now at that Sunoco hard charger, Harry Chung racing for the 32 Racing Honda Fit team, a Ferrari Challenge specialist, making his first start in World Challenge. Good run for him. Now let's take a look at the Cadillac CTSV move of the race. Beautiful move by Tyler Palmer.
Well, he's just so quick through turn 3 and just has great acceleration down the hill into that brake zone. Makes it work once again.
Young rookie's very impressive. And the key turning point of the race, it involved the points, ultimately, Robbie Davis.
Well, he sat on the front row, but as you said, he hit that rev limiter and the field just swamped him, Greg. Cost him dearly in the points today.
It was a tough moment for him, and here, let's take a look at our Motul Fast Laps of the Race Awards. Brett Sandberg getting it again, and Ernie Francis Jr. nailing it this time as we're looking at that podium. Ernie has to wipe that off of his mouth, can't drink it. And we take a look at our points for the Touring Car presented by Volvo. Winchester pretty much has this one in the bag, but look how close for the 2 teammates, Sandberg and Rushidi. Miller not out of it either. And as we take a look at the Touring Car manufacturer points, without Mazda being an officially registered manufacturer entrant with 8 wins, Honda has this one in the bag.
In the TCB drivers points presented by Kia, as you can see, it was tight coming in. It's even tighter now. Ernie Francis Jr. on top by a single point over Robbie Davis as we head to the season finale in Houston.
And there's your Deja Vu podium, same order, Compass 360 sweep. When we come back, round 13, GTS. This is how racing should be. The top sports car racers in North America. 50-minute, door-to-door, all-out sprint races. Standing starts and 0 scheduled pit stops. A battle of the brands with over 18 manufacturer brands racing. Watch us on the NBC Sports Network and online at world-challengetv.com. The Pirelli World Challenge. This is how racing should be. Absolutely glorious day here at Sonoma Raceway, the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma, and we are ready to get going with the coverage of the 13th round of the GT and GTS Championship for the Pirelli World Challenge. Crowd is on hand. I think they know something special might be unfolding here as we've got a couple of great points battles. Let's take a look at our Motul race analysis. Big field count between the two classes, 37 cars.
Yeah, and perfect day, as you said, Greg. 66 degrees. These Pirelli tires will be working perfectly in these conditions. Very busy road course, 12 turns, just over 2 miles, and there we see the lap records held at previous races.
And Alex Figge, you just had a shot at him. He was one of the guys who had one of those track records. There's young Alec Udell. Let's take a look at our Pirelli storylines. And Cal, after the recent announcement that the pure FIA GT3 spec, Euro spec, if you will, GT3 cars will be allowed, 2 new ones make their debut here this weekend.
Yeah, it's just great to see more of these GT3 machines over here, Greg. Beautiful, exotic race cars. Proven success over in Europe, of course. Very strong in the aero department. Going to have a lot of grip. Restricted somewhat in the suspension revisions that they're going to be allowed in the Pirelli World Challenge Championship. But typically that would mean they want to be softened up a little bit for the bumpier road courses that they'll encounter here. We've seen a couple already this year from Tim Pappas and Peter Lasafra with the Mercedes SLS GT3, and looking forward to seeing those guys back in action soon.
Yeah, that Aston Martin and that Audi GT3 R8 Ultra going to be spectacular. Huge battle in the points in GT right now. Johnny O'Connell leads it, not that far behind, only 20 back is James Sofronis. We took a look at the intensity of this battle.
So many times throughout, my career, I've been in this situation where coming down with a couple last final races, you got to be mistake-free. Not only mistake-free, but you got to rise up. I this year feel I am driving at the highest level of my career.
We definitely had a good start to the season. The street courses, St. Pete, Long Beach, came away with a couple of victories and some podiums. So it was really a matter of just kind of staying up front, staying clean, finishing races, and getting as many podiums as we could.
This season, James has brought his game to a whole new level. I mean, his driving. Just like he'd say the Cadillac's got an advantage, I'd say the Audi has got an advantage, but he's driven it well.
Johnny O'Connell, obviously one of the best sports car drivers here in the country. We're coming in here, Johnny O'Connell, that's the target. We're going after him. We're 5th and 6th, or 1st and 2nd, or 9th and 10th. That's what matters. We need to stay ahead of him.
He has a little bit more on his shoulders, to be honest with you, than I do. All I got to worry about is driving fast. He's got a business to run.
To win the championship means so much on so many levels. First, to reward the team for all their efforts. I mean, these guys are the unsung heroes. Personally, it would be amazingly satisfying to compete and beat some of the best. The people that have supported me, mainly my wife, all these weekends away, it would be nice to kind of say, hey, honey, it was worth it.
We know we've got a serious job to do. We look forward to executing and making it happen.
Sofronis, one of the guys with some of the most starts in World Challenge competition, but no championship yet. Here's a guy that would like to get another championship. Lawson Aschenbach, 3rd in GTS points. There's Mark Wilkins, who's 2nd. And Wilkins, 94 points behind Jack Baldwin after qualifying. All of them, however, with a shot at this GTS championship. This race is going to tell a huge story in terms of how that unfolds. So we gave a look at the GTS battle as well.
I believed going into it, the way we were prepared to start this season, that the championship was accessible.
Championships are very tough to come by. Consistency is very key. Finishing races, making sure you consistently are on top of your game every weekend is very important. We've had a really good year.
We kept plugging away race after race, and then it was, I guess, Detroit when we really sort of started to shine a little bit and show that we were really strong contenders for a championship run. It's going to take some luck. It's going to take some consistency. Again, it's going to be staying out of trouble.
Oh, big incident!
Unbelievable. That's a game changer.
In championships, you're going to go through ups and downs. No season is going to be perfect. The competition level is tough.
Good door-to-door, close racing. It's been a lot of fun, running with these guys this year.
They're tough competitors, very talented young guys. They're the kind of drivers that I have respect for.
I've won championships before the last race of the season. I've lost championships in the last race of the season. It's something that you're sort of attack mode. You're not points racing right now. We're going after wins.
It's always great to get victories and to set fastest laps and all that, but we all strive to do this to be championship winners.
We're going to keep fighting until the last lap of the last race.
Could it be? Can it be? Could it happen? We've certainly worked hard enough for it. We've earned it. So if we do pull it off, I want you to know that we're going to feel like, yeah, we deserved it.
I tell you, Cal, both of those divisions, the championships are awesome.
It's so tight, and I think everyone realizes today's race is super critical in terms of setting yourself up to go into that season finale, being in the game, being close enough. If you can then perform there, the championship will be yours.
Let's take a look at our Motul GTS Pole Award winner, Jack Baldwin, and boy, did that help him. 7 more points, expanding that margin in that Motul Stop Tech Fometics Porsche Cayman S. And in GT, Johnny O'Connell, listen to this stat, folks, 7th pole of the season in that Cadillac Racing Cadillac CTS VR. He has been the man in terms of pace, and that's one of the reasons he's got that points margin. Now, of course, for the manufacturers, they love the Drivers' Championship, but for Cadillac, that Manufacturers' Championship is key.
Sonoma, great racetrack, great market for Cadillac, and we're excited. I mean, this is one of our largest markets for the Cadillac V. So what you see behind me is, our owners coming out supporting the race team, our dealers out here really having a great time rooting on Cadillac, and that's what we're here for. We try to pack their day full, a lot of things that, they get some great experiences. They get to meet the drivers. We take them down to the team paddock area, and what they get to see is really their car, right? I mean, these are all V owners. When they see their car and they see their drivers and all the things they get to experience, they go away very happy. The race here this weekend at Sonoma is pivotal to the championship, not just for manufacturers' points, but also drivers' championships. We're battling the Audis and Volvos for manufacturers' points, and Johnny's right there with James Safronis. And it's something that we take very seriously and a lot of pride in, and I think bringing home a manufacturers' championship for Cadillac and taking that back to Detroit would mean a lot to us.
Well, that's why those manufacturers play the game. And a big thanks, of course, to Cadillac providing that beautiful CTSV Cadillac pace car is out on the installation lap. Let's get down to Jim Verpelot for our command.
On behalf of our friends at Optima Batteries and all of our Cadillac dealers and employees worldwide, welcome to the Cadillac Grand Prix at Sonoma. Drivers, start your engines.
I love that sound. I didn't want to start talking. All those engines coming to life. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. The front row, all Cadillac Racing. First and third in the points, O'Connell and Pilgrim. We go to row number 2. It is fourth and second in the points. Randy Popes in the K-Pax Alex's Lemonade Stand Volvo, and James Safronis in the Thermal Club Audi. Then we go to row number 3, Mike Skeen in the Hawk Performance Corvette, and Alex Figge in the other of the Alex's Lemonade Stand K-Pax Volvo S60s. Let's take a look at row 4, where we have our GT3 debutantes, the beautiful Jawbone Aston Martin and Elton Julian's Audi R8 GT3 Ultra. Row 5 welcomes back Jason Daskalos in the Vintage 423 Restaurant Viper, his first start, and Fred Roberts in the Direct Energy Home Services Viper. Row number 6, Brian Heitkotter in the Hawk Performance Nissan GT Academy GTR, and Bill Ziegler, the Swisher Racing Audi. And in row number 7, it is Duncan Endy, who was taken out in the first lap of qualifying. He starts at the back. Cal?
On the GTS pole, it's the championship leader, Jack Baldwin, in the Motul Stop Tech Porsche Cayman, and with it, those precious 7 bonus points, alongside Brandon Davis, a superb effort in the Barracuda Network Aston Martin GT4. Next up, it's young Alec Udell in the Motorsports Development Ford Mustang, just squeezing out last year's winner here in Sonoma, Andy Lee in the Best IT Bondurant Crown 7 Chevy Camaro. Leading row 11, Lawson Aschenbach in the Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Camaro, who's very much in the thick of this championship battle, and 7-time World Challenge champ Petey Cunningham in the real-time Acura TSX. Next up is his teammate Nick Asayan in the second of the real-time racing Acuras, then Tony Gaples in the Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Camaro. Row 13, Drew Riggets, the rookie in the Aston Martin Vantage GT4, and another rookie, Roger Rodas, in the always evolving Performance Mustang. Row 14, Mark Clennon in another GT4 Aston, and then Eric Davis in the Ford Mustang Boss 302S. On row 15, it's Brad Adams in the Yo MTV Raps Voodoo Dat Dog Ford Mustang, alongside Mitch Landry in the Ford Mustang Boss 302S. On row 16, Robert Stout continues on-track development with the Scion FRS, alongside Brian Kleeman in the Nissan 370Z for DWW Motorsports. Row 17, Darrell Anderson, a rookie for Cortex Racing in a Ford Mustang, alongside Rick Boucher in the SFR Enterprises Nissan 370Z. Row 18, it's Artie Topi for Capaldi Racing, alongside Buzz McCall in the second of the Goldcrest Porsche Caymans. On row 19 is Lucas Ordonez in the Nissan GT Academy 370Z. And the first of those Kias boost control issues after qualifying puts Mark Wilkins to the back of the grid. And the final starter will be his teammate, Nick Johnson.
So that's a look at the lineup. And now, as you can see, the cars are out just completing their installation lap. And we've talked about the great partner for this championship that Cadillac is. And one of the things they provide is the safety vehicle. And it is a beautiful Cadillac Escalade with a couple of safety specialists on board. Response when necessary. We hope they just get to sit and watch the race. And that race, the 13th round of GT and GTS, is about to unfold here at Sonoma. Stay with us, everybody. Coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships are brought to you by Volvo. Designed to win on race day, designed around you. By StopTech, world-class brake components and systems for racing cars and high-performance vehicles on the street and track. And by the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, internationally recognized as the leading authority on driver training, celebrating 45 years. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Motul, the official lubricant and brake fluid of the Pirelli World Challenge. By Eibach, the world leader in high-performance suspension. And by Kia Motors and the Kia Optima. It's not your average midsize sedan. Welcome, everybody. It is time for the 13th round of the GT and GTS Pirelli World Championships to unfold here at Sonoma Raceway, the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma. We are ready to go, but first, the GoPro Quad Box presented by Kia, Cal.
Top left, you're looking at Rick Boucher, who qualified 19th in GTS in a Nissan 370Z. Tony Gables in the Black Dog Chevy Camaro lines up 8th. Duncan Enty got hit in qualifying and lined up 13th in GT. And Alec Udell, a nice job qualifying 3rd in GTS in his Mustang Boss 302R.
Looking forward to those awesome shots from GoPro. It is time to go racing. There you see Kathy Malik presenting the 5-second board. When those lights go out, we go racing. All Cadillac front row, lights are on. Oh, headlights flashing on O'Connell's car. Wonder if there's some
problems.
Stalls.
Oh, look at that.
What a move.
Just gets around there. That was really, really tight, Greg.
And boy, that was an immense start by Andy Lee, able to sneak through as well. Finally, O'Connell able to go. Oh, Pope's going around.
Pilgrim on the inside. Oh, Baldwin's in. Baldwin got in the back of someone there in turn 2, Greg. He sliced through the picture there, but there may be damage.
Boy, he had airtime even. Oh, and now Safronis, an issue. Looks like he maybe got tipped a little bit. He's gathered it up. Damage to Skeen's car, Cal.
You can see it on the left front fender there. There we see Endy trying to come back through. That's Elton Julian right in front of him in the Ultra R8.
And smoke from the back of... Is that, yes, indeed, damage on Safronis' car. Huge developments here. And that's O'Connell and Baldwin, Calvin. The 2 class point leaders are off.
I cannot believe what we're looking at here, Greg. This is unbelievable. The 2 title leaders are off in the dirt. There's damage to Baldwin's car. Now we're on board with Johnny as he tries to get that caddy moving again. Can you believe it? Oh, look at the damage to the rear end.
Huge damage. Oh, Safronis has been knocked around down in turn 7. On board with Andy Lee watching that, and Alec Udell slices through to the lead.
What a lap. Alec Udell takes the lead in GTS as Safronis gets back underway. But big damage to Johnny O'Connell. Can Safronis now rebound here and slice his way through this traffic?
Yeah, O'Connell's buried in GTS traffic right now, as is Popes, who had to wait for the whole field to stream by. Meanwhile, up front, there's your leader, Andy Pilgrim. That is Alex.
Big smoke from Skeen.
Oh, wow.
He's got problems there on the left front. He's got to make some adjustment.
Daskalo sitting in 4th but running wide, on board with Andy Lee in the box. Down to the inside, Udell floats wide in Lee. If he can make it work, Cal, he's going to reclaim the lead in GTS.
Yeah, Alec just couldn't get the car turned in there under braking. Now we see Johnny O'Connell limping back to the pits. This is major damage, Greg. I'm not sure he's going to see any further action today.
Boy, a huge amount of damage as Pilgrim continues to lead over Alex Figge. Figge, who sat on pole and won here last year, has won the last 2 races at Mid-Ohio as well. Boy, and Skeen still showing a lot of smoke for our Optima Batteries best standing start, Brad Adams, the Voodoo Dat Dog.
Yo, he's on the move.
He is, man, a great launch, up 10 spots in that MTV Wraps machine down to the inside. And here's a look. Oh, Jack Baldwin struggling right now, probably heading to pit lane. Now, we've got an onboard replay from Tony Gables. Look at this, Cal.
Look at this. Johnny O'Connell dives down the inside, clips P.D. Cunningham, then takes Jack Baldwin with him for a ride. I think it's just a consequence, Greg, of Johnny O'Connell trying to make up for that stalled start. And I don't think P.D. Cunningham was expecting faster GT traffic to out accelerating him. down into turn 5. Just a bad moment for everyone involved.
Certainly not that early in the race, and a problem. That's the Hawk Performance GTR. Brian Heitkotter, one of the GT Academy drivers. It looked like something broke on that machine.
For sure. He didn't lose control. You can see the left rear suspension is off to the side there. It's crooked. Something went amiss there.
And Cal, in the double box, we just saw Brandon Davis in that Barracuda Network's Aston Martin able to pick up second from Udell in GTS. Yeah, Heitkotter's wounded.
Yeah, that's a shame because he's really fast in that car. He's really making some moves today.
This is going to be interesting. James Safronis, who has a huge opportunity in terms of points here with O'Connell's issues, is sitting behind this lead group of 4 in GTS. They're not going to make it easy.
Well, he's got to be patient. I'm sure his crew's been on the radio to him saying O'Connell is out, O'Connell is out. So now it's a points payday. He's just got to pick these guys up, try and get as far up this GT field as he can.
Boy, you got to love these GoPro onboards. He picked up Aschenbach. There he goes around Udell. Next, it'll be Davis, but now we're getting into a very serpentine, twisty, climbing portion of this track. Up to turn 2, leading. Davis sits in second, and let's see what's going to happen here. Look at how Davis saw him coming. Beautiful job by Brandon Davis. That's how a pro makes that happen.
Yeah, you've just got to give those GT cars a little bit of room. They're going to out-accelerate you. Let's see what happens here down into turn 4. So Safronis will look to the inside, Lee defends a little bit, and Davis will get a run on him.
So nice job there. Let's go back, take a look at Mike Skeen getting into the back of Safronis. That's how that happened, Cal.
That was on the opening lap, and that's what caused the damage to Mike Skeen's race car.
Another look at it there. Big wobble. Safronis lucky to recover from that one. Here's the bigger one when he got hit by Julian.
Yeah, gets turned around there. What an opening lap for James Safronis. The ultimate irony is that the championship leader, Johnny O'Connell, had a worse first lap.
Absolutely, and there was a little bit of debris that had caught fire in the back of Safronis' car. No issues, that's out, and we are back now to this great battle. Udell so close for a moment there to the back of Davis's Barracuda Network's Aston Martin, but Andy Lee leading away in that Best IT Bondurant and Crown 7 car. Brand new graphics package on that car. He asked us to say a big thanks to Revving, who came up with that design. Absolutely beautiful, and boy, he's showcasing it right now.
Yeah, the car looks beautiful and it's going fast, but I tell you what, Brandon Davis looks awfully tough. That Aston Martin GT4 is really well balanced, and he's just sizing him up at the moment. Oh, Lee defends to the inside for the breakdown.
Now, this is going to be interesting if he can get underneath him here, get the drive off, not quite enough. Boy, Davis gave it a heck of a run.
It's tough when
can he do it here on the outside, Cal?
Well, it's tough when you tighten your hand and you still try and get the power down, but he's got that outside line. If you can run side by side through here, he takes it to the outside. High speed, really bumpy up there, then tricky braking zone, then up over the crest. Nice job by Brandon Davis. He goes to the front.
Welcome back to World Challenge, Brandon Davis. That was gorgeous. That's the Barracuda Network's ACS Aston Martin, the GT4 machine. And that has Andy Lee sitting in second, Udell third, and a recovering Popes catching all of them here. As we're going to step away for a moment, your leader overall, GT, Andy Pilgrim, GTS, Brandon Davis. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Hawk Performance, race proven, street legal. By GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. And by Optima batteries. With twice the life and 15 times the vibration resistance, Optima batteries really are the ultimate power source. Back in what has been a fraught, fast and furious Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma. Some immense racing unfolding here in the early going, and coming up through the back are those Kia Optimas from Kinetic Motorsports, Cal.
Yeah, they've been having some boost changes over the last couple of events, and I think it caught them out in qualifying. They were over boosting, and consequently their times got turfed out. Mark Wilkins had in fact qualified third, a very competitive lap time, but he's just got to be patient as well. Like James Safronis trying to come up through the field, this is Mark Wilkins trying to do the same job in the GTS field.
Yeah, Wilkins, that breaks Kia Optima. Keep in mind, folks, second in points, a long ways back at these guys. Aschenbach right there is third in the points right now. He's well placed to be able to do something with the problems for Baldwin, who has not yet come back out of the pits. We need to make that point. So this is a huge potential day for Aschenbach and Wilkins.
Absolutely. Aschenbach's had 5 wins on the season. He's had 9 podiums, I think, to this stage. So he's put in a tremendous championship charge, but he realizes he's going to have Mark Weider on the on the horn saying, the championship lead is out. Let's try and capitalize here. But the big points are for first and seconds. We want more today.
Absolutely riding on board there with Alec Udell, that Watson Racing Motorsports Development Group Mustang, off his best qualifying effort of the season with that great run to third. And he, of course, had a fast lap in one of the races at Detroit, Cal.
Saw a big power slide there by Lawson coming off at turn 7. Don't want to do that too often. These Pirelli tires will work great, but you can't abuse them like that. Here we see a great battle. This is Wilkins alongside Nick Kasayan. They touch there coming off at turn 7. Now the big acceleration down through the S's.
Oh, Kasayan into the curb and just almost looked like it threw him over into Wilkins, and he's got damage, Cal.
There's huge damage to both cars. I think Mark took it mostly in the door, and Nick's got major damage to the right front suspension and that high-speed part of the racetrack. And there we see a little hand signal from Nick Kasayan. Those boys aren't happy with one another.
Yeah, well, we definitely seen them leaning on each other a little bit, didn't we? Kasayan running a little wide in 7, Wilkins coming down underneath them, and we saw that touch. So hardcore racing, that's for sure. Wilkins able to continue anyway. You can see the damage, but it looks like he may have got away with it, Cal.
Yeah, the key
not
is
even pitting.
Yeah, he's not coming into pit lane, and the key is going to be, did he get either of the left front or left rear wheels and suspension hit? And this is really pivotal in this championship chase. He's on a march back through the field right now, but he has to keep it clean. Big moment.
Yeah, coming up on the back of Robert Stout in that Scion. Meanwhile, this is the battle for second. Alex Figge in the Alex's Lemonade stand. K-Pax Volvo has Skeen pressuring him big time right now. Down into turn number 11, and sort of a slightly changed version of last year in between the original 11 and what they've run in the past. Gives it a little bit more of a braking zone, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does, and it's a prime braking zone and overtaking zone as well as the Motul braking zone down into turn 7. Alex loves this racetrack. Won here last year, coming off a double victory at Mid-Ohio. He's a man who had so much potential for the championship, but just went a little bit wrong for him this year.
Absolutely, and we are going full course caution. Is saying out of the car, he can't move it. So the iCar safety lights have come on, and again, want to say a big thanks to the folks from Motorsport Safety Electronics for helping with that very, very technical development. And as you say, things have gone wrong for Figge under the caution, Cal.
Well, he's had these, he's just shown so much speed this year and has 3 victories, but he's had the worst racing luck, and under caution, we see that K-Pax Volvo limping to the side of the track. Unbelievable.
And
what a race.
Yeah, and is saying out, he's okay. We're going to step away for a moment. So Andy Pilgrim continues to lead overall with Skeen second, then Andy, then Julian. Andy and GTS Davis out front of Lee, Udell, and Aschenbach in another great battle. The bucolic beauty of Northern California's wine country. We're back at Sonoma Raceway for the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma, currently under a full course caution. And folks, it's time for us to turn into a top 40 radio station because we're bringing the hits to you, Cal. Take a look. It's been busy.
It has been a wild one. First lap, here we see Pilgrim into the side of post lane. Look in the middle of the picture. There's Jack Baldwin, our GTS Championship leader, getting into the back of Ziegler. There's a better look from on board with Alec Udell.
Just craziness. Then Mike Skeen getting into the back of Sofronis, loosening him up a little bit. That created the damage on Skeen's car. And another look at it from here, you can see a pretty quick section of track. Sofronis lucky to get away unscathed, but not for long.
Now he gets down into the hairpin, turn 7, and there we see another move that turns him around. This is Elton Julian in that new GT3, the R8 Ultra. That's a great look from the onboard with Duncan Endy. Then we're on board with Johnny O'Connell. Listen. He actually does a downshift there. He realized that wasn't going to work great. Downshifts the car, tries to brake and get out of that, but there's nowhere to go. Clips PD, takes Jack Baldwin with him, and then we're on board with Tony Gaples in the Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Camaro, and look at that move. That was a violent change of direction there by Nick Kasayan, and we know he was mad after the hit. Hopefully that wasn't retaliation.
Yeah, absolutely, and then finally for Figge, another problem as he limps into pit lane. Now we're live, we're on board with James Sofronis, and a great look from that GoPro camera. Now, one thing, James Sofronis, that program from Global Motorsports Group is a customer program. James loves these images, but he also says they're an invaluable tool.
The GoPro camera has been instrumental when we've been using this for our racing program. We'll stick GoPros inside the car, outside the car, facing forward, facing back, and then we'll review it on our video screen and basically take all that information, and instead of just looking at computer data from the Motec, we can actually show what it looks like in real life application. And the GoPro is amazing. It's so versatile. Being so small, it can be placed anywhere in the car, but the quality of the footage is amazing. I mean, you see it used in broadcasts and all types of racing, but for Pirelli World Challenge, you get a perspective that you just can't get, or you never were able to until now. When it's on the front bumper or the splitter, and the splitter actually goes under the car ahead, but you don't hit it, you're literally in the car driving when you watch it. Plus, they're only about half a pound, so they don't weigh the car down at all. I see GoPro's relationship with Pirelli World Challenge growing tremendously. You want to get the fan more immersed in the racing, and this is what GoPro can do for you.
And it does it with great variety. That's the cool thing, and great looking images. Jack Baldwin, day is done. That Motul Fometic Stop Tech Porsche is parked. A huge story in terms of the points, and of course also for Johnny O'Connell. But look at Cal, the crew is working on that car furiously, and there's a reason.
Well, Highcutter went out on the very first lap, so if they can get Johnny out for even a lap or two, it may bump him up a position, and those points are going to be precious now as we head to that final race in Houston. So they're doing all they can.
As they will, and it is time for us to go back to racing. Andy Pilgrim leading the field around, Skeen in second, and it is a great day for Duncan Endy. And here we go as he sits third. We are green, back at it here at Sonoma. Boy, Elton Julian going big defensive as Daskalos took a run at him. And look at Sofronis with everything that's unfolded, Cal. This caution helped him huge.
That was big. That really reduced that buffer that the rest of the field had. And now James is back into the big points here. He's going to look for more, though. Daskalos has been very impressive here today as well. Great to see him back.
On board with Randy Popes, the surviving Alex's Lemonade Stand, K-Pax Volvo trying to come up through the pack, down to the inside of Daskalos. Can he get it done? Down into four.
Jason took it in deep, a little bit too deep, couldn't get it turned in. Battle of the Brave there.
Boy, and that one was won by Popes in that instance, as Randy, too, of course, trying to come back up through the pack from his first lap spin. He had to just sit and watch that whole field stream by, so he's giving it a good run. This caution helping him big, too. And I just wanted to say a great look there. Well, we're going to hop on board the GoPro look from Bill Siegler's Swisher Racing, Global Motorsports Group Audi, but wanted to pay a little tribute here to Kevin Buckler. They actually started in pit lane after practicing standing starts, found a broken clutch on that GT3 Aston Martin. He has driven a brilliant race as well in that Jawbone sponsored car. Huge new sponsor development for TRG AMR North America. Great to see it. Great to see Kevin returning to action, particularly here at his home track. Been running here for 20 plus years and always gives it maximum effort. Boy, and talk about that team, TRG AMR, Brandon Davis leading GTS for that team. They have 4 cars here total, and Davis, that Barracuda Network's ACS machine, fending off what looks to be a resurgent Andy Lee. Wonder if that caution maybe didn't help Andy in those Pirelli tires, Cal. Yeah, I bet it's given him a chance to cool everything down a little bit, and he realizes early going after this restart is when he needs to try and get Brandon, but Brandon looks really comfortable out front, returns to action, having run at Long Beach earlier this year. So those two running 1-2 right now. Lee in that Crown 7 Bondron Best IT entry. Aschenbach right there in third. He's the one in this group really looking good in terms of points. Yeah, absolutely. With Baldwin's problems and Wilkins sort of mired in the pack a little bit after the hit from Nick Kasayan. Big day for Lawson Aschenbach. He's now up on a podium position. That car hasn't looked the best all day. It's been a little bit loose on him, Greg. He's dealing with that. Absolutely. There is your battle up front. Pilgrim continuing to stretch his margin just a little bit after this restart. That Cadillac seems to be working incredibly well. And for Duncan Endy, he's had one of those frustrating years too. He's had mechanical issues, he's had contact-related issues, even in qualifying here. But a great drive today, maybe on the cusp of his first podium, and it would be well earned. Well, he's on the cusp of it, but the big picture is he's got James Sofronis. Oh, look at this, though. This is the move for the lead in GTS. Andy Lee tucks to the inside in our Motul braking zone, takes it away from Brandon Davis. Boy, he just got a great run through that carousel. That's what set that up. New leader in GTS, Andy Lee, doing a great job. And I think I know what you're going to say. For Duncan Endy, does he want to let Sofronis through for points? Our team orders going to be in play here as well. What a great battle in GTS. These 4 putting on a show, but up front, overall and in GT, Andy Pilgrim holds sway, and back in the lead, it's Andy Lee. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Grassroots Motorsports, the hardcore sports car magazine. By Privacy Star, blocks unwanted calls and text messages and lets you file complaints directly with the Federal Trade Commission. And by RaceKeeper, the industry's leading video data logger, because RaceKeeper helps you learn to drive faster. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are brought to you by Mercedes-Benz and AMG Customer Sports. By the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTSV coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Honda Performance Development. A great race continues to unfold here at the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma in this 13th round of GT and GTS. Good look there at Fred Roberts in the Direct Energy Home Systems Dodge Viper Competition Coupe. There, in that Aston Martin, that is the battle right now for 8th as Kevin Buckler closing on Bill Ziegler. And again, great story coming from absolutely dead last out of pit lane. Buckler down to the inside. This is the track where he made his pro racing debut, got his first pro win, and they're still based just up the road. TRG is in Sonoma, and he's through and up into 8th. And I'll tell you, these GT3 cars, great addition to the series in their full FIA spec. And Buckler giving it a ride today in that Jawbone V12 Aston Martin. It just sounds nice.
It's a beautiful looking race car, and I tell you what, Buckler is putting down some fierce race laps here. So qualified quite well, had the problem before the start, but race laps, very, very competitive, looking good.
Boy, and so's the future, isn't it? 2014 and this GT class with these cars coming on board. Yeah, we're loving that. Oh, and look at this, not loving it as Andy Lee hop on board the iBox suspension cam, and you can see, even though this is a pretty smooth track, it is being worked, Cal. Lots of loads here.
Yeah, lots of load, and the guys try to use the curbing a little bit, but this is on board now with Lawson Archenbach with that suspension cam, and he's running a good job here today, running in the 3rd spot. It's all about keeping that Pirelli contact patch, maintaining that with the road here at Infineon Raceway.
There you see him in the background, but look at this. Davis getting a huge run. Diving to the inside, Cal. Up into 1, now heading up into 2. Is he close enough? Is he going to be able to do it? Lee's got that outside line. That should give him the advantage.
He does. He keeps it right there. Brandon had made a similar move on Lee going around the outside up into turn 2 earlier in this race, but right now, Lee is feeling the pressure. Brandon Davis has regrouped here a little bit. I think he's just biding his time, but with the amount of carnage we're seeing out here today, you want that track position in case we see a caution here towards the end. So this is a fierce battle right now for the GTS lead.
Boy, and it looks like once the tires come up to heat, the pressures are there. That Aston Martin is really comes good at that point as he's staying close. Look at that front end, a little washout there by Lee.
Yeah, different lines there for that carousel, the way you attack it.
And there's a look at Skeen. Now, we're getting reports that he has been black flagged for that early contact with Sofronis. Officials have deemed it avoidable contact, so expect to see him duck down into the pits and serve a stop and go at least, or a stop and hold penalty for Skeen.
That smoke seems to have got away, or he's made an adjustment.
Oh, there it is. Another black flag, Cal. He still hasn't replied.
Yeah, and he has to abide to that rule, Greg, otherwise they'll stop scoring him. So important that Nick Short gets on the horn to him and tells him he's got to hit pit lane. But so now we're on board with Endy. He will be running in 2nd here with Skeen's issues.
Absolutely. So Skeen needs to report. Endy looking to move up even higher on the podium for his first one of the day. Great day for him. Let's take a look. Pilgrim over Skeen, at least for now. Endy and Sofronis completing the top 4. And in GTS, Lee under threat from Davis, Aschenbach, and Udell. There are 14 rounds to the Pirelli World Challenge GT and GTS Championships. This is round 13, the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma at Sonoma Raceway, and Brandon Davis in full attack mode on Andy Lee. You can see Davis able to keep a little bit tighter line, Cal. That Aston Martin looks to be a little bit better stuck. He's trying the outside. Now Lee's there, Cal, over under. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Lee was loose coming off the carousel there,
nice.
So he had to dive to the inside. Brandon's on the inside there. He's getting the traction. He's getting the power down side by side, heading down to turn 8.
And he's through. Beautiful piece of driving by Brandon Davis. Back into the lead. Another lead change in GTS. Fantastic action in the Pirelli World Challenge. Battle of the brands. We're seeing it played out here right now. Fantastic stuff. Brandon Davis back into the lead, that Barracuda Networks entry. And Kevin Buckler, boy, he is having a great battle unfolding right now with Jason Daskalos. Daskalos running a little wide. Buckler able to come back through. And we want to remind you how to stay in touch with this great action in the Pirelli World Challenge in the social media, world-challenge.com, all the latest news and views on the Pirelli World Challenge. If video is your game, world-challengetv.com. Check out cool in-car video, driver interviews. Watch this complete race and any other Pirelli World Challenge races online right there. On Facebook, search the Pirelli World Challenge fan page. Interact with other World Challenge fans. Post your race pictures and video as well. And of course, on Twitter, a presence there. Join the World Challenge Twitter account at twitter.com/WC Racing. Receive instant updates on race weekends from the series. All to do and be a part of great action like this. But you see Mike Skeen, folks, he is now not being scored by the Pirelli World Challenge officials. He has refused to come in for that black flag. The one rule you have to obey above all others is obey the stewards, and they have elected not to do that, so he's now being basically scored, Cal, at the back of the GT group. So Duncan Endy, who we're on board with, sits second right now. Better news for the Global Motorsports Group team. Sofronis is third, more points.
Yeah, they're running 2 and 3, and that big picture thing, the championship, will there be any team orders? Duncan Endy looking for his first podium run of the season. He's had 3 top 4 finishes, but never stepped onto the podium here this year. And it's a shame for Skeen, because obviously he's got a very competitive race car. Had that little bump and run with James Sofronis on that first lap, and that is going to cost him dearly today.
Absolutely it is, but you're right about Duncan Endy. Has had a great season in many ways. Fast lap at Long Beach. The performance has been there, the luck hasn't, and maybe today finally is the day. But as you pointed out, looming behind him is the team owner, the points leader, who's got an opportunity here, Cal.
Great to listen to that on board with Duncan Endy, just working the throttle, coming down through the carousel. Now we see the Kia of Mark Wilkins in a battle for 5th with Tony Gaples. This is damage control for Mark Wilkins today.
And he's in the hunt for a points championship, and Mike O'Fiera of Kia tells us the manufacturer's delighted.
We're very excited from a corporate side, Kia Motors America, all of our team members back in Irvine, as well as our team members down at the plant at KMMG in West Point, Georgia. We're rooting Mark on. We involve our team members as much as possible. We brought a lot of them out to Long Beach. Got a lot of great feedback from that. We brought the team to our corporate office after Long Beach and did a little celebration there with the guys in the cars. It would mean the world to those guys to have a car that was born here in the United States, gone to Connecticut to be built as this awesome race car, and here we are threatening for a championship in our second year. It's a fabulous success story, and there's a lot of excitement behind it. 2012 was our rookie year, our development year as we called it, and we got 2 wins and 6 podiums. This year, 2013, we came on extremely strong, started out great. Mark currently has a streak of 10 straight races of top 5 finishes. It's been a model of consistency this year. That's where we wanted to be, and it just showcases the Optima's durability, performance, and reliability, and it really is what you need to make a championship run in this series.
Cal, Mark's one of those soft-spoken guys outside of the car, but boy, he gets it done in.
Yeah, he really does. Came on board mid-season last year with the Kia team and has performed very well and been a threat this year. A couple of wins and looking for that big prize, the championship.
And, you know, we should say a little bit here about a guy named Tony Gaples in that second to Black Dog Speed Shop Camaro, off his best qualifying effort of the season, has driven superbly. He has always done very well here at Sonoma, and right now sitting in 5th, leading a guy like Mark Wilkins. Tony Gaples having a superb day for the Black Dog Speed Shop.
Yeah, Ray Sorensen and all of the guys there do a superb job in preparing these 2 cars. Lawson obviously in the thick of the championship run, and Tony Gaples having a great day here. As you said, he loves this place and has really performed at a high level here today.
True enough, but that guy behind him, Wilkins, would love to spoil that and go for some more points. Speaking of points, Johnny O'Connell is coming out and at least going to try and get a position or 2 if he possibly can here, Cal.
Well, he's battered and bruised, but they're definitely not out. They're going to keep digging. They know this championship will come down to the wire.
It's going to be close. Anything in terms of points is huge. No quit in this team or that driver, that's for sure. So, currently Andy Pilgrim, the teammate, leads overall in GT. Brandon Davis in GTS. Coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Audi Sport Customer Racing, by the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTSV coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars, and by Ford. Go further. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Honda Performance Development, by Porsche, and by the Fiat 500 Abarth. And the racing continues here at the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma as we are closing in. And speaking of which, James Sofronis has closed in on Duncan Endy. Now, Duncan was in a little bit of traffic, or is it that he's easing off just a little bit? Oh, big action down there. Look at that squeeze play. 62, Mark Clennon, the Premier Compier Aston Martin GT4, right in the middle. Pope's coming around, and there goes Clennon. And in the background, O'Connell is back into the pits. Clearly that car not able to really get around the track, and they just went out, as you said earlier, Calvin, for a point lap.
Yeah, that's all they were looking for, just a few precious points in this championship. And I tell you what, Andy Pilgrim has done what another Pirelli driver does, Sebastian Vettel. He's dominated this race to the point we haven't seen much of him here today. He's been at the front all day long, done a brilliant job for Cadillac.
He sure has, and he's on line to get his first win of the season. I know that's awfully important to him, but also important for those manufacturer points for Cadillac and the team. And James Safronis, again, keeping an eye on this GT Drivers' Championship points battle, sitting now very close to second. This is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Andy working around the other of those beautiful Aston Martins in the GT3 category, Drew Riggins in the Association Voice Machine.
Well, here we go, down into our Mutul braking zone. James is very late on the brakes there. Great braking performance from this R8 all season long. And he's going to weigh up Duncan Hendy here. He certainly doesn't want to take out one of his teammates, but he realizes there's a big points bonus. 15 points, the difference between second and third here today. That is massive as we go down to the final race of the season.
But the other side of the coin, let's remember, is Duncan Hendy is a customer, and GMG is a customer program. So you don't want to mess with that either here, as Safronis really, though, starting to heap the pressure on. If he can pass him clean, he's gonna.
He will. If he sees an opening, maybe try and read some traffic a little bit better, he will pounce.
You know, you see an awful lot of Audis racing here. The R8 LMS that Global Motorsports Group brings, now Elton Julian in the R8 Ultra. And of course, they are all exceptional cars that the drivers and teams love to race. But also, there is great support from Audi Sport Customer Racing. Here's a little more.
This weekend we'll be with 4 of our Audi Sport customer teams, and for the first time we'll be running one of the new FIA GT cars in the series. These are basically race versions of the road cars, and as we move on into 2014, we've been very happy with not only the participation of the series and the cooperation, but also our fan base. With customer racing, we bring on-site support, and we work very actively with existing teams and new teams on training, on both working with the vehicle and obviously the engineering support. We are still bringing a production car engine to the vehicle, so as a race engine, we're capable of 40,000 kilometers, which is almost unheard of. The bigger aspect we have to look at is we have a customer team right there with a 2-car factory effort from Cadillac. This just shows not only the vehicle we sell is close to what other people are offering, it also shows the balance within the series. But what a great job that Team GMG has done with their Audi program. To us, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to see the Audi on the podium.
Well, then they should be pretty well pleased, because right now it looks like we might have 2 of them on the podium, Cal.
Yeah, it's a brilliant day for them, and what a boost for James Safronis' championship chase here. Even if he finishes third, that's still a big day for him with O'Connell's problems. He's really back in the thick of it.
On board, some great looks from these GoPro cameras. Once again, Andy, as he's trying to work his way through that battle for 5th in GTS, he just got by Wilkins. That's not what Wilkins wanted. That's going to create a little bit of a gap now with him right in the middle, up to Gaples at this point, and then there is Safronis hounding both of them as well.
Now looking at a battle for 11th position in the GTS class. This is Darrell Anderson on debut, going at the outside in our Mutul braking zone, takes it in really deep.
Deep.
Too deep. Robert Stout keeps that position and still developing that Scion FRS. Still gets great support from TRD, Lucas Oil, and the E3 Spark Plug company as well. So they'll keep grinding away, and I expect to see them towards the front of this pack before too long.
Yeah, they're doing more with that FRS engine than is being done by anybody else on the planet right now. So it's a pretty steep learning curve. Closing in on the end of things, Andy Pilgrim continuing to dominate up front with Andy second, Safronis third, and Popes back to 4th. And in GTS, Davis leading in the Aston Martin over Lee, Aschenbach, and the Ford of Udell. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Mini and by Mazda. Into the final few laps of this 13th round of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships for GT and GTS, the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma, Calvin, a race that in both classes, as we're watching Brandon Davis leading in GTS, that is going to turn the championship battles in both divisions on its ear.
I can't believe what my eyes have been seeing here today, Greg. That first lap was just unbelievable, probably the most frantic and unbelievable lap that we've seen all season long. The consequences are hard to believe, and we'll have to look at the points tables at the end of this one just to see what it really means going to our final race at Houston.
And right here, that's Lawson Aschenbach, the guy in GTS right now running third. with perhaps the most to gain, came in third in the points. It'll be interesting to see where, if he's still third or if he's second, depending upon how Wilkins does. But with Baldwin Park, that's going to shrink big time. And behind him, Andy Pilgrim, on the cusp of his first win in the season, certainly has been instrumental in helping Cadillac to what looks like a potential manufacturer's championship. But boy, you know, to get there and not have a win in the year, that's frustrating for any driver.
It certainly is, and Andy came up just a little bit short last year, finishing right behind Alex Figge, so he comes back here, got a great start, had that little bit of argy-bargy with Randy Post and another of the Capex Volvos on the first lap. It was just a racing incident. He got away with it, no damage to the race car. From that point on, he's just driven a flawless race. He said the racetrack, he had to soften the car off a little bit. Not a ton of grip here, but he's got the perfect balance. I think he would have given O'Connell a hard time today, even if Johnny had had a good start.
Yeah, he has just been flawless, and that's something that Andy Pilgrim is known for, has just driven a superb race. So has Brandon Davis. That battle that he and Lee had in GTS, back and forth, isn't done yet necessarily. One mistake from Davis, Lee is there, but clearly at this point of the race, it looks like that Aston Martin working just a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just got great balance. I mean, Andy Lee's had tremendous speed. Look at all the poles he's won this year and had that brilliant win at COTA. So he's had some great performances, but the Aston Martin is a superb platform. It's very balanced, and around this sort of racetrack, that'll pay dividends to the drivers.
And of course, for Andy Pilgrim, he's being very careful, I think, as he's coming through traffic. One, doesn't want to mess with this great battle in GTS. Also, knowing that Johnny is parked, he needs to bring this home. And of course, again, with a win that he's got now in his pocket. Out of turn 11, one more time, the white flag will greet him. Here we go, starting the final lap here at the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma, led by Andy Pilgrim in the Cadillac. That's always pretty special as well. One last time, up through turn 1 and into this great section of track.
And let's not forget, Greg, he's third in the points.
Yeah.
I mean, with a win here today, he's going to gap Sofronas, or close the gap to Sofronas a little bit, gain big points to Johnny O'Connell, his teammate. If things go his way in Houston, he could still be our driver's champion for the second time in the series.
Well, that's a very good point indeed. And this is huge for him here, working now down through turn 4, heading into that great section of track, the carousel. This is a track that many have said over the years might be one of the best drivers' tracks in North America, and big nod.
Well, the car's always floating, Greg. It never really seems to want to take a seat. You got the S's, which are really high speed. You got a great balance through there, but the elevation change. I think when you talk about great race circuits around the world, they have one thing in common: elevation change. That makes the difference.
Yeah, they certainly do. And the original layout of the S's here was always considered one of the most challenging bits of track too, and that is where Andy Pilgrim is headed right now, into this constant change of direction section of track. Then right here, used to there, it would peel off to the left. Now it's straight into the chicane here just to give a little bit better braking zone and not make turn 10 quite so daunting.
Well, it does that and also creates another opportunity for overtaking. But Andy's been flawless here today. Was very aggressive on the opening lap, got the car to the front, hasn't put a foot wrong, had to deal with the restart and everything else, but just a tremendous performance.
And on a day-to-day where we've seen carnage the level that we have, other than a little bit of blue maybe on that left front corner, that car is pristine. Andy Pilgrim onto the front straight. First win of the season for one of the series' most accomplished drivers in that beautiful number 8 Cadillac CTS VR. Great day indeed. Duncan Endy earning his first podium with his second. Sofrona's third, and Brandon Davis giving Aston Martin its first win in GTS in that beautiful GT4 machine, that Aston Martin Vantage. And really, in GTS, one of the more fabulous battles we've seen this season once things settle down after that first couple of laps. Oh, and it's not done yet. Unbelievable Stout on his way to one of the team's better finishes, and a moment with Fred Roberts. This race just refuses to go quietly here. Unbelievable. Brandon Davis, boy, what a day he has had. Let's take a look at our results. And in the GT division, Pilgrim over Endy and Sofronas. Great double podium for Global Motorsports Group. Huge points for Sofronas. Popes, Julian, Buckler from the dead last up into 6th. Absolutely great day. And right there, that one lap out got Johnny in front of Height Cotter. That was a few points. It's huge.
Now let's take a look at the GTS results. Win for Brandon Davis. Great performance by Andy Lee, our championship contenders. Aschenbach on the podium. Wilkins recovers for a 6th place finish. That'll be huge in terms of points here tonight. You see the second page, but we have to go to that third page to see the big one, and that is Jack Baldwin, our championship leader, all the way down in 23rd spot. That is going to be really huge in the point shuffle here, and will bring everyone back into the game heading to the final race.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely massive. Yeah, you bet. Very happy, Andy Pilgrim says right there. And it all started with a great start, just that little bit of a moment when Pope sort of shut the door. Andy was there, and the result, a win in an interview with Jeff Lepper.
Well, Andy Pilgrim at the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sonoma finally got a W this win for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was tough on that first lap, first corner. I hate the fact that I got into Randy there, but I was trying to get out of his way, and I just real bad about that, but I feel very good about the win for Cadillac. You know, what can I say? Good a while coming. Been on the podium a lot this year, and it's really nice to get the win.
So let's take a look at our GT drivers' points after 13 of 14 rounds presented by Volvo. Zafronis back in the lead, but boy, it's close. Pilgrim, as you said, not that far out of it yet, nor is Popst.
Then we look at the GT manufacturer points. Cadillac have this one wrapped up, barring mishaps at the final round. Houston, anything can happen. Audi Sport Customer Racing in second.
Let's take a look at our Cadillac CTSV move of the race. It was Brandon Davis, and this pass getting the power down beautifully, Cal, and getting around Lee for the lead.
Yeah, you can see Lee there scrambling for grip a little bit, coming off of turn 7.
And as a result, Brandon Davis able to bring it across the line. The debut win for Aston Martin, and that means he too is with Jeff Lepper.
Well, Brandon Davis, you took the time off from Long Beach till now. Was that the difference in the win today?
You know, I don't know what it was. I think it's more the TRG guys did a great job of developing the car from then till now. But I got to thank Barracuda Networks for allowing me to come out here and do this. You know, we all dream of being out here and driving, and you know, I've been waiting for the opportunity to show I can compete. You know, I've won championships in the series before, and I want to stay out here and compete. So I really appreciate them coming on board and allowing me to come out here. I mean, it happened about a week ago, and it's great to be in the series, great to be racing. It's what I love to do, and hopefully we can continue doing it.
Great day for him, but in our GTS drivers' points presented by Volvo, the story, there's a 50-point difference from first to third in the payoff. There's 47 points between Baldwin and Wilkins. This championship is on, Cal.
Very much so, and in the GTS manufacturer points presented by Kia, Chevrolet have dominated things due to the strength in numbers and their performance, of course. Kia looking strong in second with 58, Acura line up third.
And our Sunoco hard charger, great day for Rick Boucher in the Nissan. Started 32nd, finished 20th, 12 spots overall he made up. Awesome run for Rick Boucher, great to see it. Turning point of the race for Kia, Johnny O'Connell. This is an easy one.
Yeah, there we see it from Tony Gaples on board. Johnny O'Connell trying to recover from that stall start, tries to thread the needle. There wasn't enough room. Major damage to him and GTS championship leader Jack Baldwin.
Yeah, that was truly huge. Motul fast laps of the race. Andy Pilgrim earning it, deservedly so. In GT and GTS, Brandon Davis, the two winners, getting those fast laps and clicking them off. Time for our Kia Rewind, and folks, if you're looking for highlights or lowlights, this race had plenty. So enjoy this one, but now, Cal, there is but one race. And it's going to decide the championships that were turned upside down here. It's a street course to boot. It's one that hasn't run in a while.
It is rough, it is brutal, and I'll tell you what, it's going to get on all of these drivers' nerve endings. It's a long break here to the last race of the championship, the first weekend of October, so those nerves are going to get chewed on over the next few weeks as they think about what happened here and what's going to happen in Houston.
And you just saw some of the shots there of disconsolate Johnny O'Connell down in pit lane, but a very happy Andy Pilgrim. Thank you so much for joining us here for what has proven to be an amazing 13th round of the championship for GT and GTS, and also a 11th and 12th round of the championship for Touring Car and Touring Car B. Those championships to be decided as well. Join us in Houston. We'll see